Everyone is part of a bigger story. It's a bigger story than you can imagine. It's a big story about a really big God. Discover the story that shows you the character of God. Hey, I'm Caleb, and you know what this is? My Bible. 66 individual books that fit together to form one amazing story, God's story. Through history, letters, poetry, and words of wisdom, we discover the incredible epic of how God created everything from nothing, including us. People turned away from God, but God loves us more than we can ever imagine. God gave everything to rescue us. Now we can have friendship with God again. Because of what God has done, we can have hope, no matter what we're going through. And I've got 4 stories from the book of John to show you where that hope comes from. Here we go. In chapter 11, Jesus' friends, Mary and Martha, send word that their brother Lazarus is deathly ill. But instead of rushing to heal Lazarus, Jesus stays where he is for 2 more days. When he finally arrives in Bethany, the news is bleak. Lazarus is already dead and buried. Game over. That is, until Jesus unwraps a surprise ending. Let's hop to the next chapter. It's time for the Passover feast in Jerusalem. And when Jesus rides in, his presence puts the whole city on edge. People along the road treat Jesus like a king, tossing down their cloaks and waving palm branches as they celebrate. But instead of joining in, the religious leaders start plotting ways to take him out. Sure enough, they find a way, as we see in chapter 18. Jesus' friend, Judas, betrays him to the religious leaders. God's own son is arrested, lied about, and beaten. And finally, Jesus is sentenced to die on a cross like a common criminal. It's the darkest moment the world has ever known. And yet, in the darkness, God is at work. Because as Jesus has already shown, God can push rewind even on death itself. Time to wrap up in chapter 20. I bet you already know how this ends. Jesus has returned to life. It's incredible, just unbelievable. In fact, one of Jesus's friends, Thomas, he doesn't believe it. He's got more questions than a standardized test. But Jesus, he doesn't mind. In fact, he's got the biggest and best answer for Thomas, Jesus himself. God can bring good out of bad and light out of darkness. God can bust through death itself and transform it from an end into a beginning. That's what can give us true hope. And I can't wait to see how it shows up in you and me.